Today on Quality Digest Live, we bring you our second special episode from here at IMTS 2018.
That's right, and we're going to ask the question, what business are you really in? And we're going to do a tech corner from the QMark booth right here on the floor of IMTS. So stick around for that when we come back.
Today's episode of Quality Digest Live is brought to you by QMark, a US-based manufacturer of probe styli used for accurate measurement.
Welcome back to Quality Digest Live for September 12th, 2018. QDL is your weekly look at who and what is making the news in the world of quality. I'm Mike Richmond, publisher of Quality Digest.
That you are, and I'm Quality Digest Editor-in-Chief, Dirk Ducharme. We're coming to you today from the booth of QMark Manufacturing, and we'll have a third and final episode of our show from here at IMTS in Chicago tomorrow.
That's right.
Meanwhile, I had an interesting conversation yesterday with a guy, Paul Vregel from For a Better Business, who dropped by our booth. Paul is a consultant, a quality consultant, and in essence, his job is to help companies tap the knowledge of their employees. And that's a topic that has come up more than once on our show over the past few years. We've had several articles on that as well, kind of, how do you glean the knowledge from your workers? So if you're looking to streamline or improve your processes, I mean, who knows better how to do that, right? I mean, is it the CEO? Is it a middle manager? Okay, yeah, maybe, but your best shot is probably the person who's actually doing the job, the person on the front line who really knows how things work, right? The problem is that in an entrenched command and control culture, how easy is it to glean that information? I mean, there's several problems. Paul was talking to me, just kind of saying what he runs across in his consulting business when he's trying to do this. He says, number one, he's convincing employees that this is not just another program du jour. Oh, great, another consultant, another program, yeah, whatever, right? He says, and kind of one of the ways way he deals with that in his business is that you've got to show results to the employees immediately. So when a consultant comes in, when he comes in and he's doing his job and he's gaining this knowledge from the workers on the shop floor, he's got to implement that immediately into some sort of process so that they see that their input is actually going somewhere and it's actually doing something, right? So it's important, number one, as you're getting that knowledge, that you put it into action right away. Not a year, not 8 months, but 3, 4, 5, 6 months. They got to see those results immediately. Otherwise, they're going to say, yeah, this is just another consultant, right? Number two is you got to get managers to let go. Often, when employees get involved in process improvement, it means that middle managers may lose some of their control. I mean, and how do you handle that? Because a lot of times, the middle managers might be picking up some of this information from the employees, and then it's the middle managers who might be funneling this up to, and so you've got this kind of telephone thing going on, right? So if you're gleaning this information directly from the frontline people who are doing it, in some cases, this may strip middle managers of some of their job, and so that has to be factored in. How do you deal with that? How do you make the middle managers know that they're still important, right? And finally, of course, these changes have to become part of the culture, right? Once the consultant leaves, what happens then, right? So he's saying it's important, and part of his job is addressing all those issues, right? Come in, get that information from the employees, get it worked into the system, get middle management buy-in. Obviously, the CEO has already bought in, otherwise he wouldn't have brought in a consultant to begin with, right? But none of these problems that Paul mentions are insurmountable, and he says that. You just have to have a process for doing that. And the point is, bottom line, the people who do the work usually know best how it can be done and how a process can be improved. So it was really interesting. He just dropped by the booth and just, hey, this is kind of what I do, knowledge, gaining workers from knowledge. That was just really interesting conversation.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, this is a problem that's kind of endemic to industry, where there always are a lot of solutions. I mean, this is a show where solution providers rule, and you always have solutions that are available. And the question is, what solution do you select? I mean, if you're an executive at a company and you have a facility, factory, let's say, there's a lot of choices. I mean, there's Lean, there's Six Sigma, there's Bulger. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to improve your quality. But if you don't stick with any one thing, if it's the flavor of the month and you shift it around all the time, like you say, you've got to kind of let the employees get it and keep getting it rather than just shift off of it, because then they're like, well, do you believe what you're doing or not?
Well, and also if you are doing a program like Six Sigma or Lean or something, that's not a separate thing from using the knowledge from your employees to feed into that, right? If you've got a Lean program or a Six Sigma program and you're looking for process improvement, waste reduction, who better to ask, right? Who better to get involved in that process than the people who are actually doing the work?
Right, and that's really the takeaway, is that your people, you hired your people for a reason. We always say that. You have people on your staff and you trust them, you brought them in, you nurtured them, you mentored them, you've promoted them in many cases, and there's a reason why they're on your team, because you trust them to do the right thing and to kind of take ownership of your process. But if you don't allow them to have ownership of what they already know to do, if you do micromanage them, they're never going to buy in. They may buy in for a short period of time, but they're never going to really stay bought in to whatever the the procedure or the process is. If you're a manager, you don't follow through and give them that authority, you're never going to get anything out of it. So, I didn't talk to Paul, you did. I saw you engaged tightly in the conversation with him, so I didn't know what exactly it was about. But
just a shout out at Paul Fragel. So, Fragel, sorry.
And another great reason to be at IMTS is you never know who you're going to see.
Run into.
Conversations you're going to fall to. I mean, if you come to the show, a big show like this, or Control, I think is the same way in Europe, I mean, you're going to have conversations with people, you're going to learn stuff that you didn't know or expect that you were going to learn coming in. And that's really one of the benefits of coming to a show like this is, the things you learn that you didn't know before and the opportunities you have to fall in the conversation.
Yep, that's right.
Really, really good stuff.
Cool stuff.
All right, well, believe it or not, Dirk, there's a lot more going on in the world of quality and manufacturing and performance excellence than just what's going on here at IMTS.
It's hard to believe.
IMTS is a world unto itself. There's 110,000 people or something here in Chicago at this particular show over the course of these 6 days. So it's kind of like Manufacturerville. It's its own little suburb of Chicago. But I mean, there's always a lot going on here, but there's always a lot going on in the rest of the world of quality too. And as a matter of fact, the always hopping Quality Digest editorial team had a really good article they published actually earlier this week from one of our favorite authors, Jessie Lynn Stoner. Jessie Lynn Stoner is an author. She's a consultant as well. And she ran an article called, "What Business Are You Really In?"
Right.
And actually, isn't that different from what your conversation with Paul was about? What you're really doing and why. And the first question that she wants to ask you, that she suggests you ask is, who is your customer? When you ask about what business you're in, really what that means is who your customer is and what they're doing for a living. Because if you don't know what that is, you really can't serve them and make your company do what you want your customers want them to do, right? That's a really important part of this. So she uses a couple of examples here. The first one she uses is like a door and window company, or door and or window company. I mean, you can say, and she uses this example, you could say if you make doors or windows, well, what business are you in? Well, we make doors and windows. Right?
Should be obvious.
Who are you serving? Well, you're serving people who want doors and windows. You can look at it that way, or they can say they partner with customers to help them manage lighting, privacy, and access to physical structures. See, it's a very different thing. I mean, those are very different ways of viewing one's business. I mean, because when you view it from a broader sense, all right, we're a door and window manufacturer, or we help things like lighting, access, privacy. You have a broader take on what your business is, and you also have a broader understanding of what your business could be. That's really important, because it's not what you're doing now, it's what you could be doing in the future that really is what we all need to be doing as business people, thinking about the next thing. And that doesn't just go for external customers either, if you think about it. It goes for internal customers and teams, maybe even more than anything else. I mean, Jessie Lynn Stoner used the example of departments, right, that might view their accounting department, right? They can view them as she uses the term the numbers police. In a very adversarial way. You can view it as the numbers police, or you can look at them as partners who guide the company to better financial insight and compliance. Again, very different ways of looking at what a financial department is, or an accounting department. Those are two very different things. So reframing the question of why you exist and who you serve, it's really a great exercise in helping your helping your own organization understand, not only what you're doing, not only what you can be doing, maybe the opportunities that you're missing as well within your organization. Those are really important things, because if you don't take advantage of those opportunities to learn and do what you could be doing on a broader sense rather than just what you're doing now, you're never really going to get to what the heart of your business could be in the future.
It's funny, when she was talking about that, it reminded me of Ford's somewhat successful, some would say maybe unsuccessful, rebranding. We're not an automobile company, we're a mobility company, and that's what they were trying to do. It's like, well, we're not just about making cars. No, we're about getting people from A to B, which is a kind of a different thing. I mean, cars are part of it, but it's much broader than that. Now, Ford has not had really success in that rebranding in a sense, but that's what they were trying to do, and that's really addressing what is it we do.
But it was a good idea.
It was a good idea. It was a great idea.
It wasn't executed properly, maybe exactly right, but the idea of that was a really good one to broaden it out and have a larger view of what it is that they are.
That's what our customers want.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Okay, well, earlier today I had the chance to chat with Mark Osterstock, who's the president of our host for today's show, whose booth we are in, Q-Mark Manufacturing. And Mark and I took a look at Q-Mark's really impressive line of styli in probes. So let's roll the tape right now, and we'll show you a bit of the Q-Mark line.
That's right.
I'm here in the booth with Mark Osterstock of Q-Mark. And Mark, what it is you guys do?
We manufacture styli for industrial metrology. These are probes that go on machine tools and coordinate measuring machines. We've been doing this for 25 years. We make them for all different varieties of probing systems. Everything is made in Southern California and available overnight.
And I understand part of the thing that makes you guys a little bit unique is that you do custom probes, and you do actually, and your turnaround is really fast, right?
That's right. Yeah, about 80% of our business is standard catalog items. About 20% of our business is custom probes. These can vary from as many as one of a kind to several of the same kind, but they're all different, and we make hundreds of them every year.
Okay, and you have some of your probes out that you're going to show us today, right?
That's right. That's right. We have a new product here at the show that we're introducing here. It's called diamond tip styli. These are styli that have real diamonds affixed to the ends. The advantage of a diamond stylus is it will never wear out. Diamonds are forever. Everyone knows that slogan. These tips will never wear out. They do not attract material that they are measuring, nor will they scratch materials. So in many ways, they are the ideal material for CMM styli.
And so people will request diamond styli over ruby. Ruby's a typical one, right?
Yeah, ruby is a typical one, but ruby, believe it or not, even though it's the second hardest material on Earth, is soft enough that it will wear over time. So the diamond styli solve that problem. May I show them to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
These are the diamond styli. There are basically two kinds. This one that is clear is a solid diamond. This one that's darker is diamond coated. These are better for highly abrasive materials like aircraft alloys, Inconel, and so forth. The diamond coated styli are better for soft materials like aluminum and brass. They come in 5 diameters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 millimeter. They can be any length and any diameter base. These are brand new this year.
And the same the same options and so forth that are available with ruby, I'm assuming it's just the tip that's different.
It's just another sphere on the end of a stick. Exactly.
All right, terrific. Yeah. What else did you want to show us today?
Well, I'd like to introduce Clint Clark. He's our manufacturing manager, and he's devised an ingenious method of letting people design their own custom probes online. It's called our Custom Probe Builder. It's available online on the Q-Mark website, which is www.cmms.com, and it allows the users to go online and design exactly what they want. They hit a button, and it's submitted to us for quotation immediately. So I'd like to leave it over to Clint to give you a demo.
All right, Clint, hey, nice to meet you.
You too.
All right, terrific, take us away.
Okay, so this is the Custom Probe Builder that I designed for our website. And really what this does is it allows our users to visualize their custom designs before they send it to us. That way, if there's dimensions that just look strange, they will know right away. Because frequently, there'll be a typo or something when they submit for a custom quote. and this actually it's a visualization so that they can do it right online. So they just pick the thread that they want, and it's dynamic. So as you're changing the numbers, the actual solid model that you see in front of you is changing. So that's the visualization of the custom probe, and they can go through here and change numbers, and they see it change right there on the screen.
So they're kind of visually building the probe right in front of them on the screen and putting the specs that they need.
Yes.
And then is that submitted directly into the ordering process, or?
Yes, so what they do, once they have all the dimensions here and they select their materials, their thread type, they can hit the submit button, which will bring up an information page for them to enter as much information. All that we require is their email address, so we know how to get a hold of them. They don't want to waste a bunch of time filling out a bunch of stuff. They just fill in their email address. I'll just put mine in here as an example. Send design. You get a confirmation page, then we get a copy of an email, and you get the same copy of the email, so you can verify what we got. It's literally the exact same email. So from there, we give you a quote, and you'll hear from us within a day.
Wow, and what kind of turnaround do you guys have typically?
Typically, we can turn custom probes around in a day.
Wow.
As long as there's not too much variation, we can easily turn around a probe in a day.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's pretty fast.
Yes, it is. That's one of the things we pride ourselves in, is the customer service that we provide.
Okay, and what else were you going to take a look at today?
Mark has some other new product that he'd like to show you.
I'll come back over here to Mark.
These are machine tool styli. A lot of people wonder what these white shafts are. This is actually industrial ceramic, and there's a ball on the end, and believe it or not, these are designed to break, because these are attached to a very expensive probe head, and if there's a machine collision, we want this to break before it damages the rest of the machine. This is an $85 item. The machine is a lot more expensive than that.
So I never knew that. So the purpose of ceramic styli is to break.
Exactly. The technical name is a mechanical fuse. This is a very fast-growing segment of our market, because nearly every machine tool that's being offered here for sale has some kind of probing system on it, and invariably they crash. So when they crash, our phone rings and they need another probe immediately, which is another reason that we specialize in offering overnight delivery. So this is called a machine tool stylus, and we are seeing phenomenal growth in this product line.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of your other guys was talking to me earlier, and he had said the same thing, is that there's a lot of growth in machine tool probes. Why is that, do you think?
Well, it's a lot more efficient. If you can inspect the machine on the part, rather than taking it off the machine to inspect it, it saves a lot of time. Also, these are used to identify if the part is in the right position on the machine before it's machined. It has a lot of different applications.
Oh, great. Okay. What else?
Well, let's see. Can we talk about the shoes?
The shoes, the ruby slippers. Yeah, let's definitely talk about the ruby slippers. Some of you have probably seen some of the advertising for Q-Mark that has the ruby slippers. We actually have a pair of ruby slippers right in front of us here.
These are a big attention getter. We always bring them to shows.
Got to show the heels there.
Yeah, these started out as an advertising idea for a print ad, and so we took a shoe and photoshopped a stylus onto the heel, and ran a print ad in one of our trade magazines. The response was phenomenal. No one had ever seen anything quite like it. So we took the advertisement, the two-dimensional advertisement, to a show, and several people said, "Hey, you got to make a pair of those shoes." So we did. We actually made a pair of the shoes, and at our next show, we hired a model to wear them. And again, everybody loved them. They wanted to have their picture taken with them. So now we take them back to shows because we're known as the Ruby Shoe People. So it's an interesting story about how an advertising idea became reality.
And since we're talking about something that you guys are known for, I understand that you guys are also known for your customer service.
That's correct. As both Clint and I have emphasized, we have overnight delivery. We also have an unconditional guarantee. If it breaks, we'll fix it.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's really good stuff.
Exactly.
So I've seen a lot of, so we've looked at your diamond styli, your ceramic styli. Obviously you got a big selection of ruby styli and the slippers there. What else can you show us?
These are carbon fiber styli. You're probably familiar with carbon fiber. This is the same stuff they make, for example, golf clubs out of. It's very stiff. You can't bend it, but it is incredibly lightweight. Here, hold it.
Oh, jeez. It doesn't weigh anything.
It doesn't weigh a thing. And what we pair it with a titanium base and some kind of a ball. In this case, it's a ruby ball, and it's light as a feather. The reason it's light as a feather is that many probing systems have a weight limitation. So if you put too much weight on the probe, it's going to false trigger. The carbon fiber allows a lot longer probe, a lot more robust probe without the danger of false triggering on the probe system.
And I imagine on longer probes, less deflection, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because the material is so stiff, and it virtually floats away.
Very cool. All right, well, Mark Osterstock from QMark, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for being here, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that's our show for today, but before we go, we'd like to again thank our sponsor, QMark Manufacturing. QMark is the premier U.S. manufacturer of ruby and diamond probe styli. At IMTS this year, they're introducing 6 new products inspired by clients. The manufacturing pros at QMark collaborate with measurement professionals worldwide to solve specific measurement challenges. Last year, QMark created more than 500 different custom designs. So, for more information, visit online at cmms.com or click on the banner just below or just to the right of this video player screen.
And that's right, so that is it for today's show here live from the floor of IMTS. Be sure to join us tomorrow for our third show, which is going to be from the Olympus booth. We're going to be talking about the folks at Olympus and what they've got going on there.
Yeah, we got a lot going on there, so that's going to be fun. And that's tomorrow at normal time. So that's 2 p.m. Pacific. I'm sorry.
2 p.m. Eastern.
11 a.m. Pacific, and 1 p.m. here, local time in Chicago.
That's right, so be sure to join us. See you then.
See you then. Bye.
All right. Keep going, keep going.
We should just turn around now. Let's just turn around and go bye.